Hello to my beautiful family of light. Yes, that means you. Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Claudia and I'm happy to have you here. Today I'm going to continue my journey from clueless to awareness. And I'm at age 40. If you'll go back to, let's see, from where I bring my mother or I return from taking my mother to the other side. That's just back a video or two. And get yourself caught up, then you'll know what's going on there. But a brief summary here is that I was given the honor and privilege of leaving my body as a spirit, as a soul, and taking my mother to the other side, having that whole experience, coming back. And this now begins the integration of becoming aware that you're a soul, I'm a soul. I want you to know you are too. You are no different than me, except you look different. You have your own spiritual, your own life, your spiritual contracts, and all kinds of things going on for you. But this is my journey, and in the telling of my journey, I'm hoping, trusting that within your own life, you'll have experiences that you can relate to regarding not my story, but getting behind what is happening in your own life, your own path, and the things that are happening to you. You have to get behind it to try to understand better what's going on. So that's what this is all about. So we're going to start, for me, this is chapter, let's see, it's chapter 26, 27. I did some live stuff. I think you have to go back to changes, getting back, yeah, on 12:13. Was getting back into balancing your life with the fact that now you have a new added identity, and so it gets even better from here. All right, well, let's move on. So I did talk about that. If you'll go back to 2:13, you can pick up where I left off in terms of trying to balance the physical and your spiritual, this newfound spiritual identity. And when I came back, I had a boyfriend before I left for about a year, I guess. Probably about a year, yeah, a little more than a year by then. And we were just great hiking companions, and he was teaching me things about the outdoors. And you're looking at a city kid. You know, I grew up in a small town between Vancouver, Canada, and Seattle, Washington, you know, in a remote little place. So not very, how do I want to say, there was nothing sophisticated about me. I was just a small town girl with 6 brothers who kept an eye on me, right? And so by the time I've since then, I've lived and worked in a large city and had couple of other pretty big experiences, and now living in this more remote area of the Rocky Mountains. So, you know, I'm going to probably read some of this to you. I'll do some from memory, but when I got home from that, and I didn't let him know I was coming back. Oh, I didn't know when I would be, because when you have buried somebody and have their place to clean up and their belongings to disperse and all that sort of thing, it just, you know, you just are going through it. You're just taking care of business. But when I came back, I flew in quietly and was unpacking, and I heard a knocking at the door, and I answered. I just figured the neighbor had seen me come home, but I opened the door, and there was this just handsome, happy, you know, the face lit up with a smile, boyfriend. And before I could even say hello, he had just grabbed me in a bear hug. He was obviously anxiously waiting for my return. And he just squeezed until I couldn't breathe anymore, and I don't know that he could either. And then he just looked at me. And you know how that is? you don't know what to say to somebody who's lost someone. Now, he has no knowledge of my story of taking my mom. He only knows I've lost my mother, and who was really a foundational rock in my world, and and so he was worried and concerned and all of those things, and so he's looking, holding me at arm's length, not letting go, holding me at arm's length and wondering how I am. And then he said, "Are you okay? I'm happy to have you back." And I probably inexplicably was fine, because of the experience that I had had in experiencing my mother as a soul, seeing all of her loved ones from the other side, meeting all her guides and guardians, many of which we have also. There's angels, angelic helpers, there's archangels, there are ascended masters, there's all of your family, there's even galactic and intergalactic beings, that are it's so vast. It's a sea of beings of light that are there waiting for you, and I got to experience all of that. So I wasn't particularly distraught. I was really happy. And so, he's looking at me with concern, and I'm saying, "I'm okay. I'm really fine." And so I said, "I gotta finish unpacking. Huh? Give me a minute to do that, and then we can sit down and talk." And so he wandered around a little bit. I think looked in the fridge and saw there was nothing in there that didn't have mold on it. And anyhow, when I came out and he was sitting waiting for me, he said, "Let me take you to supper, and we'll have a glass of wine and visit." So we did, and over supper, and you can tell, when there's two people who really love each other, care about each other, respect, and are influenced by them, you can tell he was just very happy for me to be back. And I was a little confused about being back, not because of him. In fact, as our visit and supper progressed, I became really comforted, because it was the grounding that I needed that brought that spiritual thing back in, more integrated into this. I kept wanting to experience and re-experience, and kept going back to the feelings and all those things that transpired. But, getting caught up with who you are as individuals was very grounding for me. And what I wrote was, the physicalness of his presence seemed to be the thing that was bringing me back, that I was required to have in order to pull myself back into this worldly existence, but the sojourn was never far from my mind at this point. And then his kisses and hugs and all those things just clearly spelled how happy he was to see me. He loved holding my hand. He loved looking at me, and we just had great conversations far into the night usually. And it was just really, I wrote here that I loved listening to the melodious tenor of his voice, and was comforted to hear and feel how much he had missed me, and how he had wondered how I was doing while I was away, and now that I was back. And happiness was growing in me for that, for the familiarity of him, for the meal that we were sharing. And I knew that that he was expecting me to be more sad. I could see that. And I wasn't really prepared just yet to tell him about my experience. I wasn't sure how you take these things that I say and share with you they're very intimate moments. And when you have your own experiences of the divine, you begin to see that you have to hold that energy in here. Keep every moment of it alive inside of you, but not everybody needs to hear about it. So I wrote that it was clearly satisfying and a joyful experience to be home, to be back, and that, you know, there is simply no description for whatever resonates, that stirs those cells within your body that carry what I now know is the God gene. And so something has been stirred in you and you cannot go back. And that the more the imprint that I experienced became transformation and integration of the body, mind, and spirit. So all three of those now have distinct, very distinct personalities. As a soul, I'm completely different than I am as a body mind at that time. Now it's way integrated, and I tend to operate more from the spirit aspect than I do. The body mind operates from that foundation. It has completely shifted, but at the time that I came back, I did not have it. It was something that did need to be integrated. And so I tried speaking. It was a few days, and then I tried speaking with him about my experience. Of course, unsure about how much or how little to say. And although he was fascinated, he experienced difficulty with the plausibility of it all. As a minister, he had a pretty traditional Bible expression of, you know, creation and Jesus and all of that. And he wasn't sure that humans were supposed to do what I did, you know, and if maybe I'd been dreaming. So after a while, I just quit talking. I didn't talk about it, and just figured that at some point he would either ask me about it or I'd find the opportunity to express a little bit more about it. And I will tell you that the experience, once you have it, is as clear as the day when you go back into that memory, and it's a feeling. The memory comes from this aspect of you, not up here. This part of you wants to argue what took place, but at some point it gives up. And it says, okay, I can't beat that one. So, you know, integrating your experiences into your life will just become natural at some point. It's going to happen. And the phrase that I've picked up, and I'll just repeat it here, is resistance is futile. There's no point in fighting what is true, spiritually true. Well, that takes care of that for the day. I hope you had a delightful holiday. I hope you've enjoyed this part of my journey. I love to have your comments. Please like and subscribe. Those are things you can do on my behalf to help this channel to grow and to get this information out there. So until the next video, I love you this much. These arms go all the way around you. There's energy flowing to, in, and through you from me. And I hope that if you can sit quietly, you'll feel it, because indeed, I am sending you love beyond your imagining. Be kind to one another. Embrace this planet. It offers us so much. And until I see you again in the next video, stay safe, be well, be happy, and know that you are loved beyond your imagining. Thank you for joining me. I will see you in the next video.